Hey, Marcus from My Physio Mentor here. And listen up, you're going to not want to do these things when it comes to applying to PT school. The first thing is focusing on a 4.0 or your friend's 4.0. Don't worry about that because no PT program has a 4.0 requirement as a minimum requirement for admission. Most of them are around a 3.0, 3.5. Some of them don't even have requirements for GPA at all. So focusing on that 4.0 doesn't really matter. And most pre-PTs, in fact, are great students. I know some people struggle with GPA as their biggest barrier, but everyone needs to focus on the minimum. I got into PT school with a 3.15. Many of my classmates had a 4.0. The same thing that we had, though, was we showcased our value and made a great argument for the PT program to invest in us. If I can get in with a 3.15 and someone can get in with a 4.0, the level playing field was that we met the minimum requirement. And anyway, a 4.0 is boring now. A lot of people get 4.0s in different ways. It's not as compelling as an argument anymore, and they need to see more than previous academic success to know that you're going to be a great investment. The next thing that you don't want to do is more observation hours than you need. Another thing that occurred in my PT program was the minimum requirement was 80. A lot of people had 80 hours. A part of that requirement also was 2 to 3 different settings: outpatient, inpatient, acute care, vestibular rehab, having a good variety to start with, pediatrics. Everyone met that requirement. Some people literally had thousands of observation hours, meaning they worked for free for weeks of their time. And we both got in. I had it around in the middle, around 500 to 800. And that was because I was struggling to get into PT school. I wanted different experiences and to build some different connections. But doing hours for the sake of hours without getting someone to write you a letter of recommendation or taking on a different responsibility is not going to make you more competitive than anyone else. Just focus on meeting the minimum. If you do have the time and energy to volunteer, go for it. But I would actually recommend meeting the minimum observation hour requirements and settings, and then getting a job, trying to increase your income, because that can be a barrier to PT school as well. The third thing you don't want to do is avoid extracurricular activities. And that can be a result of trying to focus on getting a 4.0 or maximizing the amount of observation hours you get. If you don't join the kinesiology club or physical therapy club at your university, or volunteer for the annual spring 5K or the winter yoga community free classes, those things that you can get participation in for one Saturday here and there are going to be so much more impactful because you can talk about what your role was, maybe in planning or facilitating those types of things and the impact on the community far better than you got a 4.0 because all you did was study and go to office hours, or you volunteered all of your time and now you have thousands of observation hours. You want that variety, so lean into those extracurricular activities. Try to find a valuable role within them. The fourth thing that you should not do was something that I was told, and I made this mistake, was I was told to cast my net wide. Basically, a program director from a DPT program came to my undergrad and she said, "Hey, it's really hard to get into PT school. It's not for everybody. So you should just really take the shotgun approach and apply to like 20 schools." And I thought, okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense because I didn't know any better. But then you look at the cost. Applying to 5 to 6 schools, which is what the average pre-PT applies to every year, based on PTCast data from 2017 to 2019, is about $1,100 a cost annually. But that doesn't include variable costs like trying to coordinate transcripts, spending more time trying to make sure that you are getting those experiences to meet the minimum requirements. Maybe you have to drive an hour to get observation hours now because of COVID. Nobody around you is taking students. And so that's really the minimum cost in my mind for 5 to 6 schools. So when you multiply that out by 4, there's no pre-PT student who can just drop $4,000 to $5,000 and hope they get into one school. And then if they don't, because they focused on having a high volume instead of high quality applications, they have to do it over again the next year. Terrible advice. And I really can't believe that someone was going around saying that to pre-PT students. Pretty ridiculous. The last thing, the fifth thing that you should not do is ignore free resources and information out there, including at the My Physio Mentor website. And you can also follow us on Instagram for plenty of free resources. I have a webinar called the Top 10 DPT Mistakes. And I also have free essay writing templates, free interview guides, and a free research template so you can look at DPT programs that in a way that allows you to focus on what you're looking for and also make the best decision for you of where to apply, so you don't cast your net wide and you focus on those 5 to 6 schools, because the general person has the right idea and the data shows that 5 to 6 schools gets you higher quality applications with a more focused approach. So those are the 5 things. Don't focus on a 4.0. Don't do more observation hours than you need to. Don't avoid extracurricular activities. Do not cast your net wide. And remember, don't ignore free resources and information out there that can help make it so much easier to get your PT-CAS application to be high quality and have you become a DPT student. Comment below with other things that you think you should avoid or lessons you've learned, things you're doing now, and check out myphysiomentor.com and myphysiomentor on Instagram. Have a good one.